Hi, it's Lester Martin from Starburst Academy, and we're working on Lab 6 out of 7. We're getting close now. Let's take the model that we created for the consume zone, that view, and let's go into Starburst Galaxy and elevate it and promote it up to a data product. All right, so the lab guide, same lab guide we've been using. Get a link to it from the blog post, whose link is in the notes section of this video if you're having trouble finding it. All right, so first thing we'll do, let's go over in Starburst Galaxy, and let's see if we can see that same lineage that we saw for the consume zone in Starburst itself. So it says go to catalogs and look at the DBT quick start catalog and the structure underbar or whatever schema name we had. So let's do that. And then we'll just even click down to the particular view we're talking about. All right, so catalogs, quick start, looking under the schemas here for the structure schema, yep. And here, the suggestion was, why don't we toggle to views? We know we have a view in there. Oh, we had a view, there it is. And if we click on that particular view, there's a nice tab across here at the bottom called lineage. Let's click on that. And guess what? There we go. We had that same lineage that we saw before, that the gift cards are being comprised of information, from over there. In fact, someone could just simply, if someone was using this to consume and they're curious what it was, there it is. I mean, in great detail. They can go copy this, work on it on their own, especially if they're thinking of doing a derivative of this or make another data product of a data product that we'll talk about here next as well. All right, so lineage is all there. Repeats what we saw in the DBT Cloud message, so that's good. All right, so what we do in Starburst Galaxy to promote something to a data product, we see a data product aligned to a schema. And because schemas have data sets, then this wrapped or decorated schema as a data product will also have data sets. So let's do that. We're in the structure schema itself. So I'm going to go back to this. And then right there, so that's the catalog. You can drill back down whichever way you want. I just kind of went back up. And then right there we have a big button, promote to data product. Now I'm going to slide the screen over because I probably have some things I want to copy and paste. Of course, we're gonna call this data product something. We're gonna call it the old Jaffle Shop. And we can use nice words here, uppercase and spaces and that kind of stuff. And what's a description? It says give us some kind of description. There it says. We're actually, in this particular case, just the way we collapsed it, we actually have the core data sets, the structured data sets in the schema too. So we'll say the core and reporting data sets for the Jaffle Shop business. And you could go ahead and put a good lengthy description. I've got one right here. I'll paste in. I pulled it aside just so I wouldn't type all this and put you to sleep. You could hit that preview description. There it is. That's nice. I think I need to pull it over to close it up. All right. And the notes, I don't think I asked you to preview it or anything like that. Then it says, hey, choose in the pull down for the cluster, where would we by default, would we want to run this data product? So we're taking some of the selections out for folks. We're making it all part of the data product. Yeah, run on that DBT cluster that we stood up. And then we could add some optional links and that kind of stuff. Here's a couple we can add. I'll just do it a Jaffle. The Jaffle Shop, corporate website. And that's a bogus website, so it's www.jaffle, Jaffle Cafe, is that what I put? Jaffle Shop, yeah, that'll work, shop.com. And then I had another link here, which was, you could add in number of links. Whoops. I was going to have one called, what is a Jaffle? And here's where we might go find out what a Jaffle is. What is a Jaffle? Or a Jaffle sandwich. I think the one I liked the best was this one. And there you go. It's an Australian name for a closed toasted sandwich. Interesting. Okay. So we'll just link that there. You'll see why in a second, why this will make a difference and what we're doing it for. that's enough there. We'll go ahead and pick some contacts. The only contact we have in our whole system is me. So I'll pick myself. You'll pick yourself. And we'll go ahead and promote it. Promote it up to a data product. Now, when we did that, we actually got routed to the data products UI homepage. Get to it from data products on the left nav as well. And likely we'd like to have a lot more than one data product and search it and all that kind of good stuff. There's characteristics, there's permissions, all those things we haven't employed here. But we have our Jaffle Shop tile here with a little bit of information. There's that little short description, who's using it and that kind of stuff, owner, etc. All right, so what are we going to do there? Yep, I can click on the left nav. You'll see it. Let's take a little bit of time and start to look at this maybe as a data consumer who's coming to the data products and say, hey, what are these curated data sets that people want me to know about? So what's one way to get into it? Just click on the tile. And as we first click on the tile, here's where I might resize a little bit of the screen here so we're not taking up so much. This is kind of that entry page, right? Some overview, and this is basically that description that we created. There's some, metadata, high-level metadata about when, where, why. We get to put most of that supporting information. Today it's linkages. We have some different features in Enterprise, and we're still normalizing between Galaxy and Enterprise. What's the best answer long-term for both of these two products? But, as much information as we can provide around this, we're looking for. But ultimately, what do you really want to see? You want to see the data sets that are a part of this data product. Now, these data sets are going to be the data sets, the tables and the views that are already in that schema. So we're curating at the schema level, promoting the schema, and then decorating and enhancing it, documenting it and promoting it and all that good stuff from the data products themselves. So we see it. We got 3 tables, 1 view. We're on the all perspective. We could toggle it like this or like that. Okay. And we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these icons. It says, let's pick on the I icon, that one right there. And we'll just look at the one at the bottom, instructs payments. What is that going to do? It's going to give us a preview window. That's somebody a quick chance to see, hey, what are we talking about here? Yeah, that looks like the data set. So they still couldn't, in this kind of GUI, explore, understand, get a vibe of what's going on. They could open that thing up too, just to make it a little bit clearer and see a little bit more details that are in there. They could see additional metadata that exists for these data sets. So we're going to use that. I didn't know how to describe it. A box with an arrow. So I just put the icon. Box with an arrow. What is that really doing? It's really taking us to the catalogs UI, routing us down to this particular level. This level's at the table level itself. And here we go. We're getting to see kind of good details about what's happening here. But I wanted to take a moment. Well, I guess we're going to do that in a minute. I thought I was changing up stuff here. I guess not just yet. How about this? What else can we do? Some show details. So there's this beautiful button called show linkage up here called show details. Now that just expands this area we have here. And really what we're showing is just more ways to decorate the script, all that kind of good stuff here. So let's do that. Let's edit maybe this description field. I thought I gave myself something to type over, but no. Payments details for order sounds good. Payment details by order. Well, there we go. That looks like a good description to me. We'll save those details there. Put some information here. You get a little bit more information that things that exist, and that's okay. But while we're here, why don't we take a minute and go all the way up. It says we're back at the structured payments. Yeah, we're at structured payments. We're at the table. I don't know why. Did I do it at the wrong level? Let's take a peek here. Nope, I was at the table. I added some descriptions, and that's fine. Yep. And then go back, navigate back. How about that? Navigate back. Yeah, okay. I'm going to look at that in a few minutes here and just highlight it. That I need to take a minute to look at it. Here, I'll just pause and fix it. So there was actually nothing to fix. Just a little wording that confused me. It says, when back on the struct payments catalog page. Well, that's where we were. We saved the table description. We're on the structs payments, and this is what we're saying, catalogs page. Struct payments is a table and a schema that's part of a catalog. It's part of all the catalogs. So yeah, maybe could be better writing, but I'm going to leave it. Click on the pencil icon to the far right of tags. Tags, pencil icon. And here's where we could start adding some tags. Now, there are no tags already created. We could go into, on the far left over here, and navigate into tags under access, etc., and build them, or we can just kind of start authoring them on the fly. So we're going to say, hey, as we type in Jaffle, it's going to say create tag Jaffle. So we want to do that, Jaffle, Jaffle. Click on that. And this dialog, this create tag dialog, I will show you another way to get to it more just centrally, because tags are usable across the system. So we got a Jaffle tag, and what could we do there? You know, we could provide a description, we could provide coloring, and that's kind of about it. We could nest it one level deep if we had an existing tag, but we don't have one. So, you know, a Jaffle. Jaffle is an Australian name for a closed toasted sandwich. Name for a closed toasted sandwich. Maybe it's like a French toast. I mean, like a grilled cheese. Okay, and we'll just make it purple. Why not? Save it, create it, and assign it. So we're still back here. We haven't left. We really just kind of popped out, created a tag, and we came back here. And then it says, hey, could we create some more tags? Absolutely. You know, you don't have to, but I'll go ahead and just create a few more. And I will say things like, well, maybe we want a tag called payment, even though, you know, one might argue that's pretty obvious, but payment. And payments will make them be a little bit more red. So we're creating a sign. It's added. And let's add a new one. Let's add maybe, we know payments here can be credit cards, or they could be gift certificates. So let's create a credit card one, and let's nest that one under a payment. Again, not trying to replace or trying to build a database here, but maybe that's, you know, something we want to do. And I'll just color code it, let yellow and orange be part of red. So we did that, and I'll add a third one called gift certificate. And let's put it also under kind of payment. Make that one orange. All right, there we go. Got a bunch of tags. I think it's just going to say go ahead and save that out. Yep. Then hit save changes. What did that do for us? Well, for right now, because we could search by these tags up there in that global search like we did in lab 1 or 2, I think it was, and we were searching for and finding data, etc. We can search by these tags. We absolutely can use them for permissioning models. We could create tags that say, let people, our policies that reference these tags and deny or allow people access to things based on these tags. But just want to give you a little starter on tags to see that stuff. All right, so there we go. Some more metadata that exists in here. Now this was at the table. So if we actually look at the column list, and before you actually see that we're inheriting some additional things. There's all those inheritance. This would mean that we could also come down at a specific level, and the lab's going to tell you to go look at, I think it's payment status. Did I tell you in that there? Yeah. The schema has more data. Sure. Struct payments, column tabs. Click on the plus icon under tags column header to show you, that you can create other ones. So it doesn't matter where you do it. I'm going to pick a payment status because that's when I got here. I'm going to add a tag, and I already have the ones I inherited. So let me just add a good old bogus one or something. Bogus tag. We'll just create bogus on the fly. Must start with a letter and only be lowercase in 0 to 9. So there we go. We're doing some edit testing here. And by doing that, we're actually going to see that this particular guy's got, one at this level and then multi-inherited. And often high-level tags will probably do a little higher than even the table up at the schema, but just making sure you get that inheritance exist in tags, and then tags themselves can have two levels of depth. Just a parent. You can have a parent or be a parent. There we go. I guess that's a way to say that. All right, some tags, good stuff like that. And then the inherited one, the non-inherited ones are going to show up after the inherited ones. That's good. We can also kind of add some more descriptions here. I'm going to add a description. If you remember from our model, we had more than success or failure, but that's the message I'm going to say. It has to be success or failure. And I'll just save that. More information we're starting to see. And if we kind of go back to our, just maybe jumpstart all the way back on data products, that's the collapsed icon, data products, Jaffle, and kind of drill back down into that data set again, we'll start to see that information that we already referenced a moment ago. We should see that, hey, look, there's that name, the description we have, there's the fact there are 4 tags that represent, at least at this highest level, and if we open it up a little bit more, there we go. We start to see some of those additional details like, hey, there's those descriptions we have. So just more ways to start decorating, enhancing, explaining, helping data consumers understand what they're getting into. Okay, we looked at all that as well. And then the last icon, really, that we haven't explored, I showed you that if you hovered over, that one, you can see pop up. It did show that. The only one I didn't show was this sign here. This is hey, I want to go query this thing directly right now, right here, and boom, I'm off and running, and there we go. It's actually going to be nice and load up the cluster you expected, and the schema, the structure, the catalog, the cluster, the catalog, the schema, and even went ahead and wrote you a quick query and says, you're thinking about that table, right? Here you go, get you started. A whole bunch of other ways to kind of get to querying that data set. Again, back in the data products, right here, there's a query data. It'll take you to the same place, take you to the query editor. If you drill into it, there's query data there. Also, should have stayed back there. Also, ... has a way. There's several ways to ultimately get to there. But those are ways that are decorated here in the data products themselves. What I want to make sure I reiterate is that a data product is aligned with or it's wrapped around a schema. So any way with any tool that a consumer can get to a data product and query against it is acceptable. So any tool, any way. So if they can already query data sets in Starburst, they can absolutely query these data products. Now, again, I'm keeping it simple. I'm just using the UI here, the query running UI here, instead of bringing in a nice sophisticated tool. But use your imagination about what else you might use in front of that. Now, I actually went back and looked at a couple things. I went back and looked at our DBT Quick Start catalog under our DBT cluster. And then the structure, Lester Martin, that was the name of our schema. But if you look, it actually kind of shows it a little differently now. That's the icon for a schema. That was the old schema name, but it wrapped it with the data product name and offered up, hey, this is also exposed as a data product. So again, it is data sets, objects, tables, views, that kind of stuff that people can query, whichever way they need to see directly. So here, verify 1,000th time. This is the same query, that we've been running all this time. There we go. All right, that's it. We took the consume zones view that was created, and we actually, because we had it in one schema together with the structure information, we used some naming standards to delineate between what's structured data and what's consumed data. Anyone can still query structured data, so that's not bad. In our case, we created a data product wrapped around it, called it the Jaffle Shop, and obviously as our business grows, we'll have more and more data sets, more and more consumed data sets, so on and so forth. All right, that wraps up Lab 6. We got one more to go, so why don't we stop this one and start that one. See you in a minute.